Hey, this is Cohmervac, and I'm dedicating this video to the discussion about the payment model for Overwatch, and why exactly I think it'll be free to play and why the other payment models simply don't match up. Now, I could be wrong, I'm about 98% sure. After watching this video, feel free to let me know what you think about it. Alright, so while I talk, I'll run some stock footage in the background for you. First, let's look at the roots of Overwatch. Originally, Blizzard had a project for a game named Titan. This was an MMO and was confirmed that it would have been free to play. It never and probably will never see the light of day because it was more or less scrapped, and a lot of the technical and creative resources from that project were reincarnated to make the technical engine behind Overwatch possible. Now, Titan and Overwatch are obviously two completely different games, and that connection alone does not say much. The next thing I'm going to look at is the other games Blizzard has made. Warcraft is a subscription-based game with expansions, Diablo is a single-pay with expansions, StarCraft likewise is a single-pay with expansions, and then we have a couple of the newer ones. Hearthstone is a free-to-play, and Heroes of the Storm is also free-to-play. Now, with Blizzard, they released these one-time payment games like StarCraft or Diablo, but always with the intention of an expansion pack for those. This is nothing complicated, it's just the best way to get the most money out of a single payment model. Another thing that these two have in common is that they both have well thought out single player modes and campaigns with large stories, and that's important because it helps provide more reason to buy an expansion so that you can, continue the story. Now that's all very interesting because Overwatch will not have a campaign. It's a multiplayer game exclusively like Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm. This also means that an expansion is also very much less likely due to the lack of a single player. Now just to clarify real quick, I'm not talking about AI players as far as a single player goes. I'm sure you'll be able to play with AI inside of Overwatch, but that doesn't really constitute a real single player mode. So on the other hand, what about a subscription-based model for Overwatch? This doesn't work for a number of reasons. Subscription-based games are usually very expansive, they have open worlds, and they're massively multiplayer online. A game like Overwatch that is a match-based first-person shooter just doesn't line up with that genre. Add that to the fact that subscription-based games usually always have a lot of character development, progress, and leveling. That's just not something you see in Overwatch, a first-person shooter game where you pick the character you're going to be playing as, and then you just play as that character. There's not a whole lot of character customization and progress that goes on there. Another point to keep in mind is that Blizzard wants to do a lot of things with Overwatch and esports. Now, a subscription-type model is not something you usually see inside of esports. All of that being said, you can have a subset of a subscription-based model being placed on top of a free-to-play model. Usually this comes in the form of a premium-type account mode that people can sign up for if they want, and that would give them access to certain benefits that are nice, that would not cross into the pay-to-win zone at all, but they'd be nice and worth the money. And then, of course, being free-to-play will also see, things like cosmetics and other such items available via microtransaction and or progress in the game. The last big point to be made is something a little bit of a rehash of what I said before, and that's that Blizzard admittedly has big plans for Overwatch and esports. Notoriously, free-to-play games are the very largest in this group. Being free-to-play opens up a game to the largest possible audience and player base, and Blizzard has a very large available player base. Further, there are a lot of first-person shooter type free-to-play games out there. A game like Overwatch resonates with these groups, and there's a very high likelihood that we could get a lot of players coming out of those different player bases. In conclusion, the free-to-play model makes the most sense in accordance with its benefits and the history of Blizzard's other games. I could be wrong, perhaps they could go with a single payment system with expansions and get that to work, but that simply does not seem nearly as likely. I hope you found my insight interesting, and I would personally love to see what you guys think. Have a good one. Cohmervac signing off.